Yo, hey, long time no see. It's your boys. It's Killer Cam. It's Anime Parley. I'll let the rest of the crew do their thing, and we'll just jump right in.
Yeah, what up, y'all? Peace and blessings. It's your boy, Mr. Wild and Free. Sitting down because I did all my walking earlier and my walk pad timed out on me before we started. So,
Mm, it'd be
Fair.
like that sometimes.
yeah.
What up, gang? Your boy Bash Ketchum here. Let's do it.
Hey, okay. Um, I'm gonna be honest. Obviously, we're talking about chapter 1157. I have notes, but I guess like the biggest thing is like a couple things. One, can we please stop with this Yamato storyline? I mean, I say it every time. I'm not gonna hamp on it, like harp on it too much, but I am like every time I see it, I'm surprised that we're still looking at it. You know what I mean? Like I'm still waiting for like that end, like cover story, whatever to like end. But it is what it is. It seems so slow. I don't even know. I don't care to look it up. But I don't even know whose grave that is. I don't care whose grave that is. I just feel like, what are we doing? And please end this. Aside from that, biggest takeaway of the chapter is Shakky is a tease, and she's basically just like, I don't know, like just inspiring so much lust from like every character in One Piece. Like they're all gooning over her, which is crazy. And then yeah, basically, the world government thinks that they're going to get Harold to turn on rocks. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's quite obvious. But
Hopefully.
I mean, it's fine. It was a fine chapter. Mugiwara had said in the group chat a little bit earlier this week that he's also tired of the flashback. I'm tired of the cover story. He's tired of the flashback. We're ready to just kind of like get back into the driving force. It's kind of easy to forget that this really started with Loki. Like, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
like now here we are,
Yeah.
just into Shaki's flashback as well. So it's just kind of like meandering just a little bit. I don't know, but
It's a
that's my
bunch of
take. It's
flashbacks.
fine. It's just a 2 week break, and sometimes it just seems like there's not enough meat on the bone for a week off, which we are on break next week. But what are you guys' thoughts?
Yeah. Just felt like you know, a bit of a continuation of a
Mm,
drawn out flashback. It's not anything that I'm mad at. I mean, the lore dumps are certainly fascinating, and I do like to see this interplay between these characters who, we had vague context of previously, but now we're getting a more intimate awareness of like what their actual relationships were like with one another
mm,
during their era, right? And I really like to experience that. But at the same time, it's also like I'm in this space now in these I mean, really, after this chapter, previously, I'm just like, okay, I can see where we're getting to, but this chapter, I'm like, all right, where are we actually getting to now? Like, how does this circle back around to the Loki situation, right? Like, the highlight on Shaki is, I mean, she's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. It's great that we can see a little bit of that story, sure, but also, like, what's so important about Shaki, right? Like, that's where my mind frame is this
yeah.
chapter. It's like, okay, she's cool and all, but why is she relevant right now?
Mm,
So that's
Yeah.
the main sentiment that I felt.
yeah. That's what about you?
I feel you guys. I mean, yeah, I agree. There's a lot of flashbacks within flashbacks, so I hope it can get tied all together in some way somehow, so we get some closure on this stuff. And I'm ready for some more action, like Mugi was saying, and just to kind of get back to present time. I think yeah, there's just not much going on. We're just getting a lot of glimpse into the past right now. So I thought it was pretty funny that popcorn joke that she said about Big Mom, that she just keeps popping out
Yeah.
kids like
Yeah,
like
that was
like popcorn. That was like
that was
dang,
actually
shots
hilarious.
shots fired, because we talked about that in the last chapter. Like how
Yeah.
Yeah,
she has so many kids and who's the baby daddy. It's all this baby daddy drama. So
That's what I'm saying. I
that
feel
was
like
that
Oda
made me
can hear
laugh.
us when we're talking, right? And we talked
Yeah.
about like where her kids, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, she pops out three. Supposedly at that time, when we see Oven, Katakuri, and Daifuku, supposedly like that's like kid number 20 or something like that. That's what I saw on Grand
Oh
Line's
my
review of the
gosh.
chapter. Like, so she's had 20 kids up until that point, which is just like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I understand this is One Piece, but it is kind of dumb. I'm just like, I mean, we never see her pregnant. She has 20 kids, really. Like,
Revolving
it's just
door.
kind of dumb. But
Maybe it has something to do with her soul fruit.
I know.
She just
She's able to just
take the
like
body and
create
put it
life
elsewhere.
just through her body
Just
easily.
put it right in
She's
her
like
egg without her getting
Yeah.
pregnant.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
she reverses the play. She makes the men pregnant.
Yeah, something. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things where I'm just like,
Take the soul and
like
put it in
it's
their body.
like just to kind of recap for everybody, right? Because we're getting breaks, and this has been going on for maybe like 2 months at this point. But it's like we started off with Loki, tell us what happened in the throne room. Then it went from that to, well, I got to go all the way back and somehow tell you about Harold when he was like a teenager and I wasn't even alive.
Yeah.
And then we get like basically Harold's flashback in terms of him reforming and becoming a better guy. And then that somehow like switches back to Loki for like a brief second, just as Loki as a baby. Then switches to Rocks. And like now we're in Rocks, then to Roger and Garp and basically the Kuja Pirates. And now we're in more Rocks and the Kuja Pirates and like a little bit of I don't know, like splashes of Harold and occasionally Loki throughout. So it's one of those kind of things where it's like, I do think the question is how much new information are we getting? And I don't mean information in the sense of, oh, well, we know what Garp looked like when he was younger. I mean, Garp kind of just seems like an idiot every time I think he talks. He's just talking about like, I want the strong and I want a good fight and da 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 da. It's like, it's a little disappointing because at least like the current day Garp, like he just seems like a badass because he's old saying that stuff. But like him being a young guy and like, dude, like you were at like the highest aspect or like pinnacle of power. And the only thing like power is in like you understand the world and the secrets and can go anywhere and have all this kind of power and authority afforded to you. But the only thing that you're thinking about, despite all of these like fucked up things that are going around you, is like just a good fight, which is a little disappointing. I know it's very like Luffy-esque, but it's just a little immature and it comes across like that, specifically when you see him juxtaposed against like a young Kong and a young Sengoku and a young Suru and like all these other kind of things. He just seems kind of like an idiot, which I don't think is the intended effect of Oda. But yeah, I mean, obviously seeing Rocks is cool, but I do feel like Oda's almost kind of reusing like the classic Rocks panel face where he's like spiky hair going out and he's looking right at the camera or like at the I guess the reader, and he just has that like kind of crazy like passionate wild kind of expression. I feel like we've seen that like almost throughout the entire aspect of his arc. I don't know if he's showing us a different face, so I just feel like I get it. He looks cool. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
but
he definitely showed us a different face though when Shakky showed
Oh
up.
yeah, when he's thirst trapping,
he showed us a different
when he's
face.
simping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing though, because it's funny. I was going back through the chapters. This is unrelated. This is for the Sabo video. Spoiler alert: we're gonna do a Sabo video. But if you look at the end of the chapter, particularly the official releases, there's like little doodles that Oda will draw. And I looked at one of the doodles and it was like, and when I say doodles, I mean like these are actually like pretty well drawn images. Like they're basically like complete. And it's basically Nami, Robin, and I think maybe Vivi or something like that. And they're all like bathing, but like their backs are towards the camera. And like it's just like perfect hourglass shape and like big butts. And I'm just thinking in my head like, Oda, like, you need to get out of the office, bro. You need to get out of the office. Like, what is going on in that office? So yeah, I don't know. I think we're kind of getting a little bit of like Oda distraction kind of goon sessions through like Shakky and like the Kuja Pirates. Because to your point, hilarious. It's like, why are we focusing so much on like just how bad Shakky is and how much everybody loves her and goons over her? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know the answer. It's one of those things where in this chapter, it's like you said, it meanders, and like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some really fascinating things that are revealed as far as the lore, right? I'm still just trying to piece together the implications of it, though. Like, where does it actually line up? So I don't know.
You know what it feels like to me?
Yeah,
it feels like the prequels of Star Wars. Like, there's some people who love the prequel trilogy, and then there's other people who are like, I didn't need to know every little thing about Darth Vader before he became Darth Vader. I'm like, we're in this flashback. I'm like, okay, the stuff with Harold is interesting because that's new. some of the stuff with rocks is interesting, but
Yeah.
like I don't know if we need like 3 to 4 dedicated chapters of showing us
Right.
like the crew dynamics. It's always the same, which is like more or less they're not like a real crew. They're relatively cutthroat. They all have their own selfish kind of interests and ambitions. You know what I mean? Like
You you know what
I'm
this
like,
chapter felt like to me?
what it feel like?
Yeah, I know like My Hero Academia, and then there's like My Hero Academia Vigilantes. It's like a
Yes,
completely separate series, but it's like
yeah.
parallel.
I tried to read the
That
just yeah
Yeah.
the little cockroach
I,
boy. I was just like I don't know if I can get into this.
I've never
It's
seen
not an interesting
Vigilantes, but
protagonist.
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. It's like a
and they
contrast.
animated it too.
Yeah,
Like it's got a
Hmm.
full on animated season going. So I
yeah.
mean, I watched it. I started reading it, but I watched it
Mm.
more than I've read it.
Hmm.
And it is this like complete side story with some contextual relevance, but it does feel like a complete aside
Yeah.
from everything that happens inside of My Hero. So it's like you're not missing anything by not knowing that story
Mm.
in the context of the full My Hero. That's what this chapter feels like to me. It's like, okay, these are cool revelations in the background of everything that's happening, but I'm not exactly feeling the resonance and, the relevance of what's unfolding right now
Well, dude, I
as it
mean,
pertains to, this whole Elbaf story.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just to say again, it's like we're really trying to just learn what happened to Harold, and I understand like there's a cross section with rocks, but we are kind of getting really into the rocks pirates, and I mean, obviously this flashback's not done. Maybe Shocky's going to be super relevant in some way. Maybe I don't know, but
Hopefully.
it does seem like there's a lot of filler so far. Like I was taking notes as I went through, and like this is what I came up with. All right, so like this is what we learned. Shiki is a piece of shit. He just isn't trustworthy at all. Okay, but that's not really new information. Like Whitebeard is kind of like a, badass Chad, whatever. Like doesn't really care about Gloriosa. Is like not pressed at all. Like pretty chill. There's a potential leak in the Rocks Pirates. They mentioned there's like a line of dialogue where it's like Whitebeard says, "Did somebody leak? How did the Marines get here so fast or whatever?" It's like okay, that's somewhat interesting. The world government, basically, if you're a non-affiliated country, the world government it just does whatever it wants to. It just kills people, like pillages, all that kind of stuff. I'm actually have to bleep that out, but does whatever they want. Which to me, I'm thinking in my head like, where the heck is Big News Morgan in all of this? Like this guy reports the news. We know he's not affiliated with the world government. He kind of does his own independent journalism kind of thing, even though he has like massive distribution. But I'm
Was
like,
he around back then?
I'd like to think he's like a teenager at this stage, maybe. Like a young
I'm gonna look up
teenager.
his age. I think he looks older than he is. I think he's like 20 something, maybe 30 something. But it is one of those kind of things where it's like, aren't you here to report like? No, like it seems like the biggest story for him should be like revolutions going on in the world, which it seems like they are since Dragon's the most wanted man. But little things of and I don't maybe his information network is not that great, but like a government official like killing people indiscriminately on an island, it seems like that's kind of a big deal. But maybe he's not born yet. I don't know. I think maybe that's what you're implying, Mr. Wild and Free.
Yeah.
Harold cuts his hair for reasons like we don't know. He just does it because this is the thing to do, I guess, when you're trying to start over.
Bro
Uh,
goes bald. He's going bad, like
yeah,
Breaking
Right.
Bad.
like
Right.
I'd rather them just say he's losing his hair, but like okay, so Rocks, because then at least
He
that'd be
had a
kind of funny.
fade.
He's
You know what I
losing his
mean?
hair.
Like Rocks,
Yeah.
like just has more of a backbone than Harold does. He's like, dude, like why are you like taking crap from the world government? He's like, they suck. You've seen that they suck. Why are you working with them? Why are you trying to be with them? So I thought that was actually pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean,
And
Oda's
then
pulling on that string, right? That Rocks and Harold string, where he's trying to get them to partner up, and
yeah,
Harold just keeps saying no and no and no. What if? Because we never saw the Admiral getting killed by Rocks, right?
mm,
In did that happen in the throne room or just in Mary Joanne in
I think
general?
I think
it
just
was,
in general.
yeah, just in general. I don't know if I know
So
for certain.
so what if the Admiral somehow Loki followed Rocks, right? Because that's what he does. What if Loki followed Rocks to Marysville, and then the Admiral caught wind of him and tries to kill him or something, and then Harold followed him, and Harold is the one that actually kills the Admiral, and Rocks just takes the rap for it.
I mean,
you're saying like that it's
I
possible
mean,
that happened.
yeah, he's Breaking Bad. He's going bald. Just starting to do bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely
not
Breaking
starting
Bad
to
with that
do
haircut
it.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He's
I mean, I
reformed.
guess
He's reformed. He
yeah,
started with the bad. He didn't break bad. He
that's true. He
started with
did
the
start with the
bad and
bad. He
went.
broke good, I
Harold's been
guess.
bad.
He
I mean, I
started
just,
bad and then
I
he
mean, we're
found
just,
Ida.
I mean, can we just be honest? It's like there's so much fluff. It's just like, okay, we know he's gonna
Yeah.
rip his horns off.
I
Like,
mean,
I'm not saying we got to get there
Yeah.
in a single chapter, but like, can we get there? Can we get to that point? Like, we know how this ends. You
yeah.
started with the ending, which is he gets stabbed up in the throne room. You're giving us all this stuff, fine, but it's like there is some fat that can be trimmed here. Like, I understand that maybe it's important to kind of demonstrate the camaraderie between the Rocks pirates for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I don't necessarily know if that's completely necessary because again, like we know that they're eventually gonna like lose and get disbanded, basically by Garp and Roger. So I think we can assume that if Garp and Roger are on the side of good, which I think we can assume, Rocks either takes things too far or double crosses like everybody in terms of his intentions and actually is like he needs to be put down, right? Because I think we
Well,
can
I mean,
assume based on the way they're characterizing Rocks, the only way that that works where like I mean unless we just don't know the history and it's completely different and Rock sacrifices himself or something like that,
yeah.
if it plays out the way that we've been told, which is like Rocks and Garp stop, I'm sorry, Garp and Roger stop Rocks, the only way that that works is if, particularly holding in, because I don't think Oda's going to do anything to like make Roger a bad guy specifically or make Garp a bad guy. So Rocks has to be in the wrong. How is Rocks in the wrong? Either he is being deceitful in terms of his intentions and like for whatever reason, maybe he gets that devil fruit. I don't know, right? The one that's being, kind of auctioned off or sold or whatever, the treasure on that, like during that incident, and like gets crazy powerful and is basically about to destroy the world or something like that, right? That's possible. Or we don't know the true history and basically maybe he saves the day or something like that, but has to sacrifice himself in some way. Or maybe Emu's involved and we just don't know the actual real history. But I do think we are ready to kind of move closer to that. And I think sometimes when you're ending a chapter with like basically, pinups of Shakky, I'm just kind of wondering what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think that that's probably, I don't know if it's an intentional misdirection,
Yeah.
from Oda, but at the very least, I'll say that there was something valid and important in this chapter, which was, the Kill Rocks panel. And I think that that could likely be the tie-in to current day Elbaf and why the government felt betrayed by Harold, because maybe they gave this order about killing Rocks, and Harold was like, okay, maybe he played along with it at first, but then
Uh,
decided not to in the end, right? And I think that might
yeah.
have been well enough reason for the government to be like, damn you, Harold, like really
Yeah.
pissed at him and feeling as though he betrayed a direct order from them. And so
Well, so
hopefully that is that catalyst, that turning point that brings us back into that main Elbaf story.
Well, I mean, we
Sure.
know that at some point in time, the world government, probably Emu, right, or at the very least the Gorosei, God's Knights, whatever, they have basically been in contact with Harold. Like there is a abyss circle like in the throne room, right? Now maybe that came on the day he got attacked, right?
Yeah.
You can look it up. You
Well,
can
I
look it
don't
up.
know. Yeah, I don't know when that actually appeared, but I do remember it being there in
Well,
Luffy's time, but I don't
Shamrock,
remember
well,
seeing that in
Shamrock
the.
specifically says like basically something along the lines of like Harold kind of messed it up, right? Like Harold double crossed us or something like that. So I think there is an element, and that's probably why he gets killed. I think
Mm.
Harold does come into an agreement, and maybe it's this, maybe it's him saying that he's going to kill Rocks and then doesn't or whatever. But like, I think there is an agreement where Harold says like, okay, yeah, I'm with you. Like I think there is a moment, and maybe to demonstrate that, that's when he rips off his horns or whatever, like to gain their trust. But then like double crosses them in some way, and then that obviously leads to them either transforming him with the reversi and then either Loki having to put him down or somebody or the people in the throne room or whatever. But like, I think that from what we've seen of Harold, I don't think he actually just goes bad. I think that he kind of like double crosses them, and that's ultimately what leads to his downfall. And then they kind of like from the little snippets or whatever, and I'll try to go and find them, but like from the snippets of how the Gods Knights talk about Harold, they look at it as like Harold basically kind of betrayed us. Like, you didn't do what you were
Right.
supposed to do, you didn't finish the job or whatever, right? So there is that kind of like Harold is kind of misleading them, right? Or like leading them like to believe that he's on their side, and then probably at some point, like reveals that he's not. And then that's when they obviously cut him down, and they're still a little salty about it. And I want to
see
say
that.
honestly, I think whatever he does, I have to assume it did something to protect Elbaf for the future, right? Because I mean, keep in mind, Harold dies, and then for years and years and years, the world government more or less leaves Elbaf alone. I mean, obviously you have characters like
Right.
I mean, sort of. I mean, Mother Carmel's already gone at this
Oh,
point, but you have like a small kind of like, I think you not really a
Loki.
pipeline, but you have giants that are entering, and they have obviously Caesar Clown trying to make giants or whatever. But like, I think there is kind of like they back off, right? So I wonder what he does that makes them back off until this moment. Do you get what I'm saying?
Loki.
Like,
Yeah, and
yeah.
not
So
every
it's
Devil
giant
fruit.
is
so
from
it's,
Elbaf,
yeah.
but
So it's like,
Dude,
why
that
this
devil fruit.
moment are they backing off? And I'm really, that's what I think is like kind of the meatiest aspect of this flashback is like, why are they coming now? Why haven't they come before? What did Harold do to basically like create time, right? To generate more time to be left alone for Elbaf.
I'm thinking it could be that devil fruit, and I think it was
Yeah.
Loki that got his hands on it. Probably Harold gave it to him
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, you're gonna have to protect Elbaf," and
Yeah.
yeah,
to the point of him being chained up when we first saw him, right? Like they were mentioning, like, well, Loki has to be here, right? Like
Also,
he's technically protecting Elbaf, and
yeah.
so there was that aspect that kind of didn't really go addressed, but that would answer it for sure.
and the Holy Knights know he's there from
Yeah,
obviously them maybe being the ones that have locked him up,
Hmm.
knowing what his devil fruit power is. But I do think that Harold, I think his friendship to Rox is important. I don't see him turning on Rox anyway, and I do see him, to Wild and Freeze point, sacrificing himself for Loki, who possibly could get that devil fruit. I really do see that playing out.
I mean, there's been some people who have predicted like Blackbeard's going to show up. I don't think that he is, but I think that'd be very interesting. I mean, that would hyper
as a
accelerate
kid,
the plot. Like,
As a
if he,
kid, that would be crazy.
no, I'm not talking about as a
Even
kid. I'm talking about like in present day, like with
oh,
Luffy
like
fighting him.
present day.
Oh
I think
Yeah,
that'd be
that
crazy. But I
no.
don't think
hyper
it's necessary. And to be honest, I don't really know how I feel about that because I feel like if there's going to be a final battle, it's got to take place in that throne room. It's got to take place in Mary Joie.
It won't happen yet. Yeah, it won't happen yet.
Yeah, I think
There's
that's
way
a
more
little,
end
it's a
game.
little too soon. Too soon. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm glad that Oda, even if we have to wait an extra week, I'm glad that Oda hopefully is in a pace where he's not as stressed because I think Oda's been doing this long enough to have earned because we went from Oda's like nonstop. He only takes a break every now and then. Look at he's just like every single week he's dropping fire, dropping fire, dropping fire.
Burnt
And then it
out.
started going like, okay, now it's 3 weeks, then a break. Now it's 3 weeks, then a break. Now it's 3 weeks, then a break. Now we're in this like, okay, now it's just 2 times a month. It unfortunately is going to slow down basically the end date of One Piece, right? Because if the timeline was One Piece is going to end in 5 years, add 2 more to that. It's going to take a little bit longer now, and that's assuming he doesn't slow down even more. We're kind of like, I'm not going to like, let me knock on wood. We're not getting close to like Hunter x Hunter territories. We're getting like 10 chapters a year, but I wouldn't be surprised if like,
Oh
goodness.
gosh.
I don't think that we're gonna get back to like 3 chapters a week. I'm sorry, not a week, a month. I think that we're gonna stay in this like every other week clip. I think he's gonna basically pull like Tatsuki Fujimoto, that's the writer of Chainsaw Man. Hopefully this is a good clip for him. Hopefully he gets the time to spend time with his family and to just rest and recover, get some sleep. And I'm hoping that he reduces his involvement with that live action, which we'll probably talk about whenever it drops.
I hope he reduces his
Yeah,
involvement
I want him to
for his
just
health's sake
back
more
away
than
from
anything
that.
else.
It's radioactive, but
Not
Yeah,
radioactive.
but for the most part, like I
You
said,
talk. Wait, Oda is involved in the live action, right? As
he
far as
was
like
way
He
more
the
is.
involved in the first
actors.
season, but I think he's a lot
Yeah.
less involved this season. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think this chapter was good. It's always good to have One Piece. Obviously, this dropped a little bit earlier this week. Break next week. It is what it is. Oda needs his rest. I just hope that at least within maybe 3 to 4 chapters, keep in mind that's like almost 2 months. Within 3 to 4 chapters, we are out of this flashback, and I'm really hoping that we don't have any more like. And little did we know that Shakky would be
Yeah.
the crown jewel or the flower of like the pirate island. I'm just like, dude, I don't care. We know what happens to Shakky. She's doing just fine with Rayleigh. I don't need to know her backstory, her love
Doing
story.
just
I don't care about any of that. If we're getting to God's Valley, awesome. But like, let's pick up the
right.
pace because I don't want to be still in this flashback in like 3 months. So it is what it is.
Hopefully,
For
Shocky's not
sure.
smashing rocks pirates, and then
That's
she goes
hilarious.
to
I don't think so, bro. I think
Rayleigh.
she's playing
The
hard
only
again.
way that would be relevant
I
is
think she's
if
playing
she
a Sophie
was
Rain.
Zuko's mom or something.
Yeah.
Like if she,
I think
if
she's
she
playing a
was
Sophie
Zuko's
Rain, bro.
mom.
She's just like kind of like racking up, but keeping that
She's
sacred
got a One
treasure,
Piece
keeping that
OnlyFans.
sacred treasure to herself.
Yellow
Hit the
foolish.
spicy link in Shocky's bio.
I know, right? Hey, subscribe. All right. Anyways,
That's
you
hilarious.
guys got anything else? I think we can wrap this one up.
Nah, that's it for me.
Nah, we're vibing.
Okay. Cool. All right, it's your boys, the Anime Parlay. I'm Killer Cam. Let the rest of the crew give their sign offs.
Wild and free.
Badge Kitchen.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thanks for rocking with us. If you liked the video, go ahead and like that video. If you have something to say about something that we said, drop a comment. Talk some shit. We'll talk some shit back. It'll be fun. All right. Peace.